What's up, guys? All right, injuries for practice today. Robert Beal in the protocol won't practice. Tatum Bethune, ankle, won't practice. Eddie Pinheiro, right hamstring, won't practice. Luke Gifford, hip, neck, will be limited. That's it. Go ahead.
Brock's a full go for practice, and is that just obviously he came out of the game fine, and what are you expecting out of him?
Expecting a full go guy who gets better each week.
How's Fred Warner's recovery going, and is there still an outside chance that he could possibly come back for the playoffs?
I haven't asked that. I don't think so, but I haven't asked that. I'm sure it's going awesome. Fred works as hard as anyone on the planet, so it's going great.
The Panthers used McMillan more in the slot last week. What kind of challenge is that? What are your impressions of him on film?
I think he's a stud. He's going to be one of the best receivers in this league sooner than later. He's got all the skill sets to do it, and I think he's just getting started.
Did he catch your eye in the draft?
Yes. Yeah,
Was
big
that
time.
somebody you thought might make it to you guys at 11?
We thought he was going to go before that, but you got to cover all those guys.
You guys brought in Matt Gay as the new kicker. What did you like about him to bring him in? Obviously, Eddie Pinheiro has been great for you guys, but needing to fill that void.
His experience, he's had a lot of success in this league, and looks real good during our workout.
What does Evro's defense look like? What stands out?
Just going against it over the years, it's a very they do so many different things with fronts, personnel groupings, and everything. Yet they're extremely sound. Very rarely make mistakes. Hard to get big plays on them, and does a real good job.
What did you see from Bryce Young when you watched the tape? What kind of challenges does he pose?
Just has the ability to play at a high level. He was drafted for that reason. All you got to do is watch last week to see what he's capable of. Throwing for that many yards, being able to bring them back and win that game was huge. And he's getting more and more consistent as he goes. And you see a guy who's got a future in this league.
He's not a prototype for a number one pick when you look at his height and all this stuff. What do you think caught everybody's eye to make him number one?
Just how he played in college. How good he was at distributing the ball, how good he is at getting out of certain situations in the pocket, changing his arm angle, things like that. Has all the tools to make all the plays that a top guy would make, and just really the level he played at in college.
You guys finally hit that 40-point threshold against the Cardinals last week. Offensively, what are you expecting out of going up against a defense that's kind of ranking in the same area in the run game and the pass game in the Carolina Panthers?
What am I expecting versus Carolina?
Yep.
Tough game.
What are the biggest challenges having to swap out middle linebackers again? Now you're on the third one, and is Curtis going to be the starter at that spot?
Yes, and it's been good that Curtis has been here. Always been practicing for this moment and stuff, but it's just like when you're missing a quarterback or center. It's not just the ability of the guy, but everything runs through that position. And the Mike by far the most on the defense, getting everyone lined up, getting the adjustments with all the motions, and it's a huge deal schematically, mentally the challenge of it. But Kurt's the right dude for that.
You intend to go on rotating Arch and Spencer Burford?
Yeah, I think so. We'll see how practice looks this week, but yeah, we've liked the last 2 weeks of it. We think it's been done well for both of them, which means it does well for our team. But we'll always evaluate week to week and see if we continue that.
What's your assessment of where the pass rush is right now, and how do you kind of get it going a little more?
I thought we did get it going more last week. Didn't have the production of it, but I thought we hit Jacoby a number of times. I thought 3 of his biggest plays were our closest to sacks. I thought he did a good job hanging in there, throwing some good go routes when we did get to him. But I have seen that improve in weeks. Doesn't always mean that you get the sacks of it, but I get it's not going to be what it has been in the past, but trying to get the most out of it.
The season has been win-loss, win-loss. Does that have to be addressed at all this week, just in terms of coming off a win and keeping that focus?
I don't think we addressed really a narrative of win-losses like that, but you address how important this game is, which you do every week, but you find a different way to word it and whatever pertains to that week. And it gets more important the later you get in the year, especially playing against a team right now who's in the playoff hunt, fighting for first place in their division. So I think we fully understand how important it is to get a back-to-back win, and we also understand how important it is to get a win every week too.
Coach, with Christian facing Carolina, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, has he exceeded your expectations as you look back to the trade that you made, and if so, how?
Yeah, I mean, we knew trading for him that we were getting an extremely special player. But I still would say he exceeded expectations. He's even been, I mean, you know how good he is off of film. But once you get to work with someone and really see what makes him so good, you realize that he's even better than you thought.
Where do you see? You hadn't asked if Fred could be back in the playoffs, but you didn't think that was going to be the case. Have you been told kind of a general timeline by the medical staff?
Yeah, it was like 4 months ago, or whenever he got hurt. And I think I told you guys then generally. But I don't keep updated on injuries that don't pertain to this week every single second. So that's just why I don't have that question answered. But I can find out for you guys.
Right. Or no status?
Yes.
Okay.
It's throwing me off because I think today is Wednesday. All right, well, I'll be ready then.
Where do you see Upton Stout in his development from week 1 to now? What are his strengths?
I mean, I love how Stout plays. I mean, I think he plays exactly the way that we look for a 49er to play. Going back to his turnover on the goal line. I mean, the second effort he did there, I mean, he hit him with all he's got, and then he came back for another one, getting his hand there to pull the ball out. I think he plays, the way he swarms to the ball would probably be the number one on our defense right now. I love how hard he competes and how fearless he is.
Christian has said that this team has gotten a little too high after what he said a couple of weeks ago. Is that something you've noticed at the mark of a young team, and do you feel like they're getting better at that?
I don't know. I mean, I think that's what you say when we haven't strung together a couple wins in a row since I think we opened up this year. But I wouldn't say we get too high. I think after losses you're always naturally more desperate, and that's just human nature, and it's finding a way to be that desperate no matter what has happened the week before or what that day, that you just stay desperate. It's hard to do that 17 weeks in a row for 7 months in a row, but that's usually the best teams do.
You were pretty adamant that Ricky Pearsall was not going to play until he was hitting all the GPS stuff that you wanted him to hit and showing in practice he could do those things. Did he have those same things in the game? He wasn't targeted much, but did you see what you wanted to see in terms of how he looked?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it wasn't that I was adamant about that. You guys just asked a more detailed question, and I think Grant said he was healthy because he saw him shooting hoops. That what's wrong with him because he's shooting hoops in there, even though you can shoot hoops in a wheelchair also. And so I just answered why he wasn't healthy. I mean, guys who can hit over 20 miles per hour all the time and then can't hit 18 without feeling pain in their knee, that's a sign that they're not healthy. So that's all I was saying there. Wasn't overdone on that. But what was your question?
But you saw what you wanted to see from him.
We saw what we wanted to see from him last Wednesday. He looked like a healthy Ricky, which is why he probably didn't have pain hitting those GPS numbers, and why I thought he looked real good in the game. You know, I think it's unfair to these guys, to me, to agree that they're judged off of targets. You know, we try to get quarterbacks who don't throw to people covered. And covered doesn't mean a man-to-man all the time. It means that there's two zoning defenders on you. And so if a zoning defender's on one guy, then you move to the next guy and there's no one under and you get completion. So I can't remember a time in that game where we went to Ricky and he was covered by the guy guarding him with someone underneath. So I thought Ricky was awesome last week, and expect him to be the same, if not better, this week.
Martin, what'd you think of Martin? He got his first extended run. What'd you think?
I thought he did a real good job. You know, I thought he ran and tackled very well. Really had just one mistake in the pass game, giving up just a 7 cut behind him. I think he had 14 plays, but 13 of them were real good.
Has come up in Coach of the Year conversations again?
What's that?
Your name has come up in Coach of the Year conversations again. Would that recognition mean anything to you at all?
No.
Last one, guys.
But I appreciate it. I'm not trying to sell anybody by that.
Juice just played his 200th career game. Obviously, he's not like a 1970s sledgehammer fullback, but it's still quite a bit for fullback. But how, in your mind, are there ways that would explain his longevity?
I mean, I think if Juice needed to be that way, he would train his body to be that way and still be able to be that type of fullback. I think the game's a little bit different, and how you use people and the angles that's created now compared to just ISO every play in the 50s. But I do think that stuff helps his longevity to a degree, especially at that position, because it becomes more than just an offensive guard in the backfield. But Juice, just from how he takes care of his body to how he lives his life, is really unique. Like, he's an extremely thought-out guy, from what he's putting in his body the first day after the season to the middle of the season, how much hours he sleeps, all that stuff. So guys like him, guys like Christian, guys like Fred, to me are the perfect guys that all young players should watch in this league because they really know how to take care of their health.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, guys.
Juice just got his 200th career game. You have an appreciation, I'm sure, for how hard that is, his position. How would, in your mind, would you explain his longevity?
He's different. Yeah, I don't know. It's 200 games is unbelievable in this league. To do it the way he plays at such a high level year in and year out is it's pretty incredible. It's inspiring to all of us, and he's such a great leader. He's a great friend, and he does everything right. I don't know how else to put it. He's the ultimate pro and somebody that, when it comes to somebody you want on your team, he's first round pick.
He's obviously very careful about what he puts in his body and his training. I'm sure meticulous and much the same way. Do you guys ever talk or share? I guess swap stories or share tips?
Yeah, for sure. We're always getting information off of each other. He's obviously a very smart guy. Went to Harvard, which is a Stanford, the East. He's incredibly intelligent when it comes to taking care of your body. So I'm always looking for stuff from him to take.
Chris, it's been a long time since you were in Carolina, but can you imagine, considering they haven't had a winning season in a while, and they're coming in to play the 49ers on a Monday night, which they don't often get, how big it is for that area and for that team?
Yeah, I think it's a big game for all of us. Yeah. And, for us, it's about going out there, having a great week of practice and a great week of prep and executing at a high level.
Is there added emotion because it is Carolina that you'll be staring across the other side of the ball?
I take every game seriously, and this one I also take very seriously.
How about the big game this weekend?
Yeah, here's a big game this weekend. Yeah, go Card.
You guys had go ahead.
Ron Rivera was talking about you yesterday, saying that whenever he was around you, he made sure that you spoke slowly to him so he could understand.
Yeah, he took that joke.
Vast vocabulary.
That's because he's a Cal guy? Yeah, that's true.
You guys had a strong offensive game against the Arizona Cardinals last week. Other than executing the game plan, how do you guys kind of go into this one to kind of replicate that same strong performance up against the Carolina Panthers on Monday Night Football?
Just have a great week of practice, great week of prep, and then come in with the right mindset on Monday.
J.C. Horn was saying today that he was talking about how much of an impact you had on him, just in terms of watching you and how you conduct yourself and everything. Are there many guys left on that team that you played with?
Yeah, there's a few. Definitely a few. Taylor Moton, the same class as me.
Yeah.
Love that guy. JC, I was with him for a little bit, but he had a massive impact on me too. He was a hell of a player. JJ Jansen, their long snapper, still on the team. Chuba's still on the team. And then there's some young linemen I played with as well on the team. So yeah, there's a lot of guys that not a lot, but a few of them.
Are there any conversations this week just about old times, about the game coming up?
No, I'm locked in this week. I'm sure I'll see all those guys on Monday, before and after the game and say what's up.
Sunday was the first game that you had pretty much the offense at full force, full health. How did it feel out there? Did it feel any different?
It felt great. I think, again, you never know what to expect going into a game. It's all about just taking it one play at a time. Each play has a life of its own, and so respecting it and, coming into this week, forgetting about last week and capitalizing on the things we did well and correcting the mistakes.
And you said this game doesn't have any added emotion, but I do believe that this is the week you'll be wearing your cleats for the Logan Project.
Mm-hmm.
How much more importance does it add to the game there? And do you ever reflect on the time spent with Logan going into this game? It's an old team, and then, of course, an old experience that is still relevant today.
Yeah, I think I think it's so cool that the NFL does that with the My Cause, My Cleats, and to have the Logan Project on my cleats and to represent Logan and his legacy is, I don't take that lightly at all. That's a huge honor, and I hope we can make him proud.
On your touchdown catch on Sunday, why was that a heads-up play from block?
That was kind of just, that wasn't technically it wasn't the call. We had a different route on, but they had dropped me. The guy actually got picked by Kittle, and so I kind of just found space, and he saw it, and I saw it at the same time, so it was kind of just two guys playing ball, and that was a good play by him. I think it's a little thing, but it's also a big thing.
What you described about this game not being
particularly important emotion-wise. They're all important. Is that
Well, real quick, I just want to make it clear. It is important. Yeah, I didn't say it's not important. It's a very important game to me, just like they all are. That's how I should have worded it.
Yeah, no more important than others. Is that kind of recognizing life in the NFL that despite what people say is the team that's favored and all that, you got to show up every week.
100%. Yeah, 100%. They really all are all important, and I think if there's any extra added emotion, you just let that come naturally on game day. But no, I mean, that's why I say any given Sunday. You know, we're unlike other professional leagues where we have a limited amount of games, and each one is unbelievably important.
Christian, you talked about that play with Brock. And how often do you have that connection, and where you guys meet at the same point like that?
I think when the opportunity arises, he's always done such a great job of doing it. You know, it's not technically in the playbook, but it's something where when you're playing loose and you're playing free, stuff like that every once in a while happens, and hopefully you're there to make it work.
What's this kind of been like for you? A little bit of whirlwind, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't really know where I am. Coming back from Madrid Monday morning, and then getting released, and then flying to Utah, and then flying Utah to here. It's been a lot of travel, but blessed, grateful to have this opportunity. So.
This is your 8th season, and you know they say experience is the best teacher, kind of taking which is a follow-up to what Nick just asked. When you are thrust into a situation mid-season to kind of take on the reins of being the kicker for this team that's had some success, how do you settle into that, and how do you feel going into this matchup on Monday?
Like you said, I mean, year 7 or 8 for me, kicking's kicking, and so the uprights are the same wherever you go, and so I've kicked a lot of balls and feel comfortable with myself and going out there to perform, and it helps it when you got a veteran group like John and Thomas that are so established that the operation, you got nothing to worry about there, and so I've kicked in the stadium before, and so I feel good coming in. I've kicked a lot of balls, and I feel like I'm hitting the ball well right now.
Kicking is such a brotherhood. Did you know Eddie even before this?
Yeah, so kickers are the fraternity, so you keep in touch with guys and you follow his career and stuff. So even just seeing him and talking to him, it's been great to catch up with him. And he's had a great year here, and so watching what he's done here has been awesome. So really happy for him.
There's only 32 of you guys. Were you kind of standing by waiting for a phone call? Were you expecting this might happen at some point this season?
After they released me on Monday, I didn't think that I would be getting a call anytime soon. Guys have been having good years, and so I was prepared for my bye week, or Washington's bye week, which I was headed home for. Got a call at the airport, so it was abrupt. I didn't really see it coming. But again, it's just one of those things that I'm just grateful for, blessed to have an opportunity to just continue to kick wherever that may be.
You've had a lot of success in this league with a few different teams. Why do you feel it didn't work out in Washington?
That's a good question. The operation was awesome. Tress and Tyler Otto over there are great. I love being there. I love my time there. I don't know. God has plans, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and doors open for other places, and so whatever that opportunity may be. I mean, he blessed me with an opportunity to come here and get to kick for however many games that may be until Eddie's back, and so he's got a plan for me, and I trust that plan, and just happy to be able to keep kicking. Yeah.
Other kickers say Levi's is one of the trickier ones, just in terms of figuring out when and things like that. What have been your impressions of when you have kicked here in the past?
Yeah, there's definitely been a swirling wind that happens at Levi's. I'm fortunate enough to be able to have played here a couple times, so I've kind of been able to figure it out. I think the best teacher is other people, and so you watch Robbie Gould, who kicked here for a long time, and he figured the stadium out. So you watch some of that stuff and kind of see what he's done and take notes on that. But yeah, it's definitely got a tricky wind in there, but I mean, kick is kicking. You get there game day and figure it out and see which way the ball's flying, and just trust that plan going in.
Kicking's kind of a strange existence, but is it strange to think that you guys can kick these guys out of the Super Bowl?
I was going to ask that. Yeah. You had any flashbacks about it?
Keep it down. Yeah, it's crazy how, right? Like, you're in LA and we're rivals for so long, and you're used to playing against them, and now you're on their team. So it's definitely different to see, looking back a couple years ago, ago playing that game and kicking them out. But now I'm Team 49ers. So, you know, they signed me. I'm wearing the red jersey this time. So I just want to do what I can to help this team win.
In that same nature, they say that kicking is kind of a mental game, right? So being that you're coming from Washington and then coming here, does it feel like new team, new season, and mentally kind of refreshed coming off a team where it didn't necessarily work out?
Yeah, definitely. I think anytime that, you know, one door closes and one opens, whatever's going on mentally, it can definitely be a little refresh, a little restart. And so you can kind of just let go of the past and kind of start fresh. And again, I feel like I've been hitting the ball really, really well. Kicking is definitely mental, and so I feel like my mind's in a very good spot. But sometimes just a change of scenery and some things like that can definitely re-spark some things and give you a fresh look at it. So I feel good. I'm excited to be here, and yeah, hopefully it is a little refresh, a little restart.
I feel like fullback things are truly when you're like in the I formation or offset I. All that other stuff, I really see as tight end, H-back type of stuff, and something that I've always felt comfortable doing. So I just think being able to adapt and find any way possible to stay on the field. Say it again? What do you mean?
Jersey?
Oh yeah.
What do you get? Like, do you
I have my whole garage is just full of that type of stuff. But yeah, I got jerseys from every Pro Bowl. I always keep, you know, my name tag from the locker wherever we're at. You usually get a hat, you get like a watch, a bunch of random stuff.
And it's going to be in San Francisco. The Pro Bowl games are in Moscone.
Yeah, that'll be great.
What do you think about like that whole format as opposed to the games?
I'm torn. I was a part of that kind of committee of, you know, kind of suggestions on which direction we would go. I don't know. I think there's positives and negatives to it. I do think keeping it in the same city as the Super Bowl, we'll get more eyes on it. We'll get more participation out of players. You know, I know they want, you know, the best quarterbacks to play in the Pro Bowl. And you know, some of the recent years, a lot of times you've seen those guys bow out of it. So it would make a lot of sense for it to be in the same city, you know, because we'll have NFL honors. Everybody is usually involved with, like, you know, the marketing side of Super Bowl week. So, you know, a lot of big names will be there. So it'll be interesting to try it out for a year. I think it'll be good. We'll see how it goes.
You do have a fullback number. That's yeah, 44 is a fullback number.
Well, you know, what's ironic about that is I chose it because of a tight end. Dwight Clark was one of my favorite. Dallas Clark was one of my favorite players growing up, and he was a tight end. So.
Yeah, and you undoubtedly met Rathman here. He was the memorable 44 before you. So.
Absolute stud.
Yeah.
Growing up, I always wanted to be a receiver. That was my dream as a kid, was to be a receiver. Growing up, I played quarterback. I played everything, kind of like a quarterback, receiver, tight end, running back, all that type of stuff. But catching the ball has always been like what I wanted to do. And so, like, I remember my freshman year at Harvard, really good receiving tight end, and I was going to get on the field for that, but my head coach pulled me aside, like, before our first game. He's like, listen, Juice, like, I want to play you out there, but I can't just run you out there for pass plays only. He's like, you're going to have to learn how to block if you're going to want to run routes. And so, like, to this day, like, 17 years later, like, that's really my motivation on run plays, is that if I can do well on this run play, they're going to keep me out there, and then I'll get some opportunities to catch the ball. And even if that's 1 or 2 times a game, like, I'll take it. You're going to see me smile every time, even if it's a 5-yard fly route. That just is always kind of what got me going. No, they should. Someone asked me that. I think they may have towards the end of my career in Baltimore, but I honestly, it's been going on for so long, I can't remember exactly when I started.
What number were you?
44.
You're coming off of a career high in tackles in your last game. How does it kind of carry some momentum going into this game? Obviously, you guys are trying to string along and stack wins, but does it help as you grow confidence at that role for the first time?
It definitely does. I think there's a lot of things I can improve on from the last game from an execution standpoint for sure. So that's really where my head is at. Mostly it's just kind of improving on the little things that, you know, I didn't do so well in the last game and making sure that I'm putting myself and my defense in a better position to succeed.
What kind of a communication Fred Warner have with you this week?
It's nice. We have him here in the locker room, so I get to talk to him whenever I really need. He's in the training room or the cafeteria, so it's really easy. You know, he's always super encouraging, and for me, like, I know if anything ever comes up, I can go to him.
You guys watch film together at all, or not?
He's pretty busy with his rehab, so I kind of let him handle that. I know how hard that can be, so I really don't bother him with that stuff. And luckily, we go Malik, Tatum, Tate, we like to watch film together. So.
Salo and Johnny are the other main driving forces.
Yeah, they're super supportive and really helpful. Salo's a genius, so I try to just soak him as much as I can, even when I wasn't starting. And then with Johnny and KJ, it's really nice to have them as well.
And you're playing a quarterback that went to your high school.
I did, yep.
But you were 4 years ahead of him. Yeah. Did you pay attention, like when you were at Stanford, what he was doing at Modern Day?
I did. It was really cool for me to see. It felt like we were right there so much when I was there. We came up short a lot of years, and so to watch him and the St. Brown brothers kind of take that team to the next level was awesome for me. So I'm a huge fan of Bryce.